Welcome into the sports.
You know what? Screw that. About celebration today, everybody. Celebration of the Super Bowl is here. The parade was today. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and we got the best team.
What is going on out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome on into the Champions edition of the Sports Buffoons here out of Lenexa, Kansas. Of course, once again, what is going on, fellas, out there and the fans of the world? What's good? What's up?
What's up, everybody?
Yo. What's up, guys?
Did
we win? Did we win? The last time
We
I'm
might
gonna tell
have
you
won.
this right now, dude. The last time I checked, Patrick Mahomes had was running on one leg, and he didn't. One of his ankles was broken. Can he run?
It was one foot? It was one foot?
I don't know.
The last time I checked, he's not allowed to run, or he's not capable of running. So did I miss something, or is he running now?
I think you got too drunk during the game, so that's what I think about that. So, anyways, you guys, we have a lot to talk about today, I suppose, especially on a parade day celebration of the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, of course, Super Bowl 57 in the books, gosh darn it, which means we're having some sippy sips and some drinky drinks. Tanner spent some time down at the parade today. Tanner, how'd that go?
I did. Actually, that was a blast. That was really cool to see all the cool Chiefs fans out there in the crowd. We kind of went through the bottom portion of it, got a little bit, stuck for a bit. But let me tell you what, turnout was amazing. Seeing the Chiefs fans were amazing. Nothing but respect across the board for everybody. Couldn't ask for anything better. Plus, seeing just everybody rolling was the coolest thing.
I heard only 23 children went missing, so that's not a bad number, right? So it's a Jordan number, so that means it's a great time. But no, they were all found apparently by their parents, so that's the good news. But yeah, I was curious what you thought about all that, Tanner. So you were only there for a little while, right?
No, we were there.
What did you see that stood out the most from being at the parade?
So we were there we got there 11:45, I'd say, and then stayed there the whole entire time, of course, to the parade. What really just stood out to me was just the Chiefs, like general Chiefs fans in general, just being there, supportive for their team. They did the chop a few times, and it was just as loud as the first time, as the second time, as the third time. Couldn't ask for anything better. Like I said, very respectful too, going across crowds, trying to cut in, trying to get a spot. I honestly couldn't really ask for anything better in a parade.
That's good. That's good here because some cities maybe don't celebrate in the same way, maybe a little less classy in that regard, and maybe be more into destroying your own town. Some places do that for fun, I guess. Like
yep,
not to name any names, but there's a few out there.
No, dude. I've heard a lot of cities they like to climb up the light poles and things like that, which I think it's interesting idea. I would never do it, but like I said, I would never live in that city either. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So we did hear some speeches. I got one for you guys if you were willing to listen to it here.
Oh yeah,
that we can listen to here. As I turn her on.
Hey, Kansas City, baby.
Big Red.
We love you. How about a hand for these guys right here, huh? Hey, let's give them a little bit of that. How about the Chiefs on 3? 1, 2, 3. How about those Chiefs? Hey. All right, so listen, we appreciate everything that you did for us. The support's been phenomenal. This parade is second to none, man. It's the best in the NFL right here. You should be proud of yourselves.
So that was Coach Reed there for a little bit.
I felt like I listened to all the speeches today, obviously. I felt like some of these guys were maybe a little uptight with some of their words. I think some of them are holding back a little bit. So I'm not sure. I think Kelsey did an awesome job and he had a good time with what he was doing. I think Mahomes was maybe too too few many Coors Lights in to really put out a really educated amount of words, I guess, at the time. Which, hey,
So-
man, I don't give a damn. You had 12 Coors Lights. I don't care.
Could you blame him though? Like that's not his
No.
job.
Well,
his
no, his
job
job's
is to
good.
bring home the fucking trophy.
Right.
Like,
Bring
that's
home the
not his
trophy.
job.
After that,
Let's
go
bring
get your.
the
So here's
Lamar Hunt
Mahomes.
Trophy back to Kansas City, back to this organization.
2 full.
And the second
What's up, champ?
most important
What's up,
thing
Super
I
Bowl
wanted
champ?
to do was get the Lombardi Trophy for the greatest coach of all time, Andy Reid, baby. This season, the adversity we deal with the injuries. I mean, my knee was in the side of my leg, but we still went back and we won the Super Bowl. We the champs, baby.
I love it, man.
That was
I love
Mr. Mahomes.
What do you expect him to say? Really? What do you
Let's
expect him
save
to say?
Kelsey for just a second from now. I
will.
want to ask you guys real quick. So I know you were out for a bit. What are you guys sipping on though for the rest of the show today?
I don't even know, man. I don't care.
You don't even know.
I've got whiskey right here.
Well, I was sitting here. I was
Get some
thinking. I got
whiskey.
myself a little green ball of something. I'll call it Eagle Tears. Mm.
When you got my homeboy, when you got my homeboy on your team, you don't really care what you're sipping on. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you guys something right the fuck now. Okay, to quote the great Wally Backman, it's not easy to be a fucking champion, right? It's the hardest thing in the world that you can do. And the only way that you can be a fucking champion is to work your fucking ass off. And that's exactly what the Chiefs did this year. Okay.
Yeah.
From the top down,
Right.
we can start with ownership down to Brett Veach, to Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, all the way down to the fucking ball boy and the training staff, whoever you want to throw out there. They worked their fucking ass off. And you know what? We deserve this fucking championship. The Chiefs deserve this fucking championship. And I don't want to hear anything for the rest of my life about referees. You know why? Because I don't care, right? The referees, they do what they do. We earned this fucking championship. I'm telling you from a personal perspective right here, I'm grateful for the Kansas City Chiefs organization, and I am grateful to be a Chiefs fan right now because like that's the best feeling in the world. And like I'm so grateful right now. But let's not talk about the refs. I don't want to hear about this shit because I've heard about that shit for my whole life. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. We are the champions of the world, and we're going to take that shit to the bank.
Yeah. I like a lot of what you're saying right there, man, because this team from the top to bottom really is spectacular at what they do. I mean, just from everything about the ownership of Clark Hunt and the amount of effort and care he gives to making this a quality team from, ever since he took over for Lamar, it's been incredible. And he's heard us as fans. He's heard our complaints and whining and crying in the past, during the Pioli era, and he fixed it. And Andy Reid came in, and that guy has a staff that knows what to expect. It's just incredible from the top down, and that includes Rick Burkholder, our strength and conditioning coach.
Tremendous.
That includes guys like that, work on our field. Arrowhead Stadium is one of the best playing surfaces in the entire NFL. Like, this is a very, very special. This is the smartest freaking organization in the entire NFL, and I would love to sit down with anyone and go over that with them because I don't think anyone realizes a lot of the behind the scenes, the little things are just immaculate what the Chiefs do and accomplish here as a team. Because we all see the obvious things, such as your Mahomes and Kelsey's and Andy Reid's of the world, but it's the little things that make this team so freaking special and why they are now 2 Super Bowl championships in 4 years. It's awesome.
So Super Bowl champion fan, Tufel, as he's a Chiefs fan, over or under 7 Super Bowls for Mahomes.
That's a steep one, guys.
That's
a
a
steep
lot.
one. I mean,
That's
you're
a
talking
lot.
about tying Tom Brady. I don't know if I can go. I'll give you guys this. How about a little more of a realistic argument? I guess real quick. 4.5. How's 4.5 sound for Mahomes? He's 27 years old. Probably could play till he's 40.
27 now.
Somewhere around there.
5 AFC championships. I'll take the over.
Over on the 4.5.
Yeah,
What do you think? Over the 4.5?
4.5. I thought you said it at 7.
Well,
our,
Tufel
yes.
said over under 7, but
it was
Mike
a
changed
loyal,
it to
a
4.5.
loyal
I-
listener. So thank you
Dude,
so much.
To be honest with you, like I don't care if it's 4.5 or if it's 7. I will take the under because there have been so many naysayers since the preseason on this guy, right? They said, oh, well, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. Well, he's not going to do shit this year because he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. So I'm going to take the under because the more naysayers that you can have against Patrick Mahomes, the better, because he hears all of this shit, right? And he uses that as bulletin board material. He doesn't need the motivation, but the more wood that you can throw on the fire, the better. So I will take the under.
Holy
go
Santa
under.
Claus shit.
I'll take under 4.5.
Is this really
You know
what just happened right now?
Because I am a true Chiefs fan, and the more I can do to motivate this guy, let's do it, man. I'll take. You know what, Patrick Mahomes, you'll be lucky to get 3, bro. Let me see it.
This is ridiculous. I can't believe you picked the Eagles, you picked the Bengals.
Yeah.
You root against Mahomes, and now you're
Yes.
picking him to
And now
not
he
win
takes the
another one.
under for
Dude,
Mahomes at
let me
4.5.
tell you this right now. It's all about motivation, and I'm all about motivating my team. And I'm going to throw one other thing out there, right? So everybody, including myself, was talking about the Michael Jordan flu game, Game 5, 1997 NBA Finals. You know what? He didn't have the flu. He had food poisoning, and that was it. You know what Patrick Mahomes did this year? That was the Patrick Mahomes flu game, except he did it twice. He was injured in 2 consecutive games. He played on one leg for 2 consecutive games. Don't tell me about the Michael Jordan flu game, okay? This is a whole nother level with this guy, okay? He played on one leg for 2 consecutive games. So don't tell me about the Michael Jordan flu game, okay? This is a different level. This, please, Nick Sirianni, please don't tell me about how, Jalen Hurts is Michael Jordan. Okay. That's just, I got so pissed off when I heard that.
Oh no, yeah, it's
But
nonsense.
I was so fucking pissed, but my gosh, like the more motivation that you can give Patrick Mahomes, the better, guys. So the more shit I can talk on this fucking team, the better, because Patrick Mahomes is the real deal, man. He wants that motivation. The more I can piss him off, the better, because he's going to take it to the bank, and he's going to prove everybody, all 3 of us fuckers right here and everybody else out there in the world, he will prove you wrong. So the most negative shit that you can say on Patrick Mahomes, go ahead and do it, because that will actually help him.
Eat shit, Derek.
I got a different question. I'm gonna ask Tanner since he was there. So Tanner, do you think over under 12.5 Coors Lights for Mahomes on the float today?
I take on the float
On the float, 12.5.
or total.
Well, total would put it more towards 19.5.
I would take the over on the 19.5.
Over 19.5 on the float. Do you think it was?
I couldn't tell you on the float
because it's a 2-hour float.
correct, and I didn't really see it was actually an hour and a half. They got there at 1:30.
At-
So it
at-
started
to
at
the- to the-
12.
So an
12
hour
to
and a half.
1:30.
I
I would say the under on the
Mhm.
12.
I bet
but
Mahomes could do
It
more.
was
than,
close, but I would definitely give the
So
over.
you're saying
overall.
on the actual bus, it would have been like under 12.5 Coors Lights within an hour and a half. But you think overall total,
Like before the bus, during the bus,
and then during the
before
rally,
they came on stage,
'Cause
after they came on stage.
there was a few moments where you couldn't see Mahomes on camera. He was in
Correct.
the back waiting. There was some pounding going on.
there was
so
a bunch going
You're
on.
saying over 19.5.
I'm going over 19.
I believe it. I believe it because I
For
love hearing.
Mahomes,
Absolutely. On the Coors Light. I bet he drank more Coors Lights. I don't know. Creed Humphrey. I don't know how many he drank maybe today, but he could probably outdo him just sitting there at
that's
a
a big
bar.
guy.
but-
let me ask you guys this question. So, Mike, you and I were bouncing this back and forth earlier today. What do you think is more important to Mahomes, to pass Tom Brady in terms of Super Bowls, or to be a better drinker in terms of how fast can you pound a beer? Because I feel like it's all about Super Bowls, right, for Mahomes, but I feel like Tom Brady is probably the fastest beer drinker that I've ever seen.
Let's dance, dickweed.
Well, I wouldn't want to challenge Tom Brady to a beer chugging contest because, first of all, I'm terrible at that.
Not
But
at all.
I think Mahomes is probably more concerned with winning as many Super Bowls as he possibly can. Not that he's going to sit there. He's not. I'll tell you this: he's got 2, right? He's not worried about 7 right now. He's worried about getting that 3rd. That's all he cares about. He said at the rally, he's like,
The next
it's just,
one.
It's
That's
just the
all it
beginning.
is.
It's just the beginning of this dynasty. That's right. You
Yes.
fucks. I'll call this a dynasty.
Yeah, and Mahomes hates that word.
Hey, don't
He
tell-
did not want to talk about dynasty because you know why?
we-
We're not done. We're not done.
Don't tell Skip that though.
It's a dynasty.
Skip doesn't think it's a dynasty, and he doesn't believe in Mahomes. So
Do you not believe in dynasties then?
He-
Because
he
what's
say
it
that, I
required?
mean-
he's
Is
a,
it 3? Is it 3?
he kind of reminds me sometimes when Jason talks.
Because here's the thing. Here's the
He
thing though.
fuels it.
What
fuels
is
it.
what is the bare minimum for a dynasty, and what is the okay for sure you've made it in?
I heard it was
because
3.
Everyone says 3, but here's the thing: after 3, those teams have gone to die. In most cases,
Correct.
not saying all of them,
Yeah.
but most cases, it's hard to get to that 4 and 5 in most cases, like with that same core group, within that same time frame. You know what I mean? We're like for the Chiefs, I'm like 5 straight AFC Championship games in Kansas City, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl wins. He's 27 years old. We have the core of this team still freaking here for quite a while. Tell you what, Chris Jones ain't going anywhere. Travis Kelce ain't going anywhere. And this team was in a, as Mahomes even said during his speech today, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
Rebuilding.
rebuilding there.
This team's about to get better. When we have the draft here in Kansas City, we freaking run this thing. We run the league right now.
Nobody touches us.
This is our league right now, and no one else can tell us anything different.
Oh no. We woke up the mama.
I would
Well-
say you can go ahead and call it a dynasty right now because I remember, you guys know I'm a Spurs fan from back the mid 2000s when the Spurs went to 3 championships. They basically won 3 championships in 5 years. And back then they were saying, oh, we don't know if this is a dynasty or not. Well, it was a dynasty, but when I look at the Chiefs, it's like, dude, you hosted 5 straight AFC championships, like in your house. And so to me, this is definitely a dynasty. But if I'm talking to Patrick Mahomes, I want to talk as much shit as possible. Be like, dude, no, it's not. And I hope that people put that out there. People, like people like Bart Scott.
yeah,
The Bart Scotts of the world. Those guys that said, I'm pretty sure that Bart Scott said the Chiefs wouldn't even make the playoffs this year.
correct.
and I-
Nacho too, I believe.
And I thank
Whatever
those
his name is.
guys. I'm happy that those guys said that because that's the kind of bullshit that when you hear that, it motivates you. And so I hope they keep saying that shit. But for me, it is a dynasty because if you host 5 straight AFC championships and you get 2 and you made it to 3, that is a dynasty. And, it's that, I want to see us improve. I'm just like Patrick Mahomes. Like, I want to see the team get better, but at the same time, like that is a dynasty.
So
I would just
For
like
sure.
someone to clarify it for me because, just in my opinion, but looking at it, it looks like a dynasty to me. But it's like people are like scared to say it. So it's like, okay, if you go to the Super Bowl next year, let's just say, for instance, for argument's sake, and you lose that game, so that's still 4 Super Bowls in a matter of 5 years. Is that still part of a dynasty, or is that, oh, we can't call it that because you didn't win it? Like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
let's think
Yeah.
about it this way. Let's think about it this way because let's just imagine that it stops right now. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. Like we'll never even make it ever again. You just hosted 5 straight AFC championships and you won 2 Super Bowls. Let's just take a step back. Let's compare that to the Buffalo Bills of the 1990s. They went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. That was a great team. Not a good team. That was a great team. We do not think of them as a dynasty. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they got the job done 2 times in 5 years or 2 times in 4 years. However you want to look at that. Like to me, that is a dynasty, but I'm kind of in that Patrick Mahomes mindset where I don't really care what happened. I care about this year, but I don't care about the last 4 or 5 years. I care about next year. My mindset is how do we get better next year? And that's where the focus is going to be for the Chiefs. But in terms of looking back, absolutely, man. They are a dynasty right now, but I don't think us as Chiefs fans, that's not where our mindset should be. Our mindset is how do we get better every single year? Don't look on the past. I don't care. Yeah, we accomplished a lot of great things, but who gives a shit? tell me how I'm going to get better next year. And that's what I care about right the fuck now. And I think that's what Patrick Mahomes is thinking about right now.
Yeah, this team's so damn young, and we have a lot of picks coming up in this year's draft too. I think 12 more picks here in Kansas City, and it's going to be a crazy thing to see unfold. And it's going to make Brett Veach's job really hard when it comes time for cut day during training camp, because you got a lot of amazing
Not-
young. You
not
got
even
young
cut
talent.
day.
You got young talent you didn't think was going to happen.
In this next 70 days, it's a lot of hard decisions to make. Who are you going to resign? Who you have to let go, let walk because of certain contract and money. Like you got potentially 12 draft spots to replace essentially anybody that doesn't sign.
But your core's not going anywhere. You're keeping your core around.
But you got to also look at extending guys, right? So we got to look at contract extensions and stuff like that. Like
Oh.
this next 70 days isn't going to be a cakewalk for Veach at all.
No, he's definitely got work.
Oh man, it's
Here's the thing for Brett
Yeah.
Veach. Like the season itself is kind of like a fun time period of doing your best addition, subtraction, and trying to massage the roster, as we like to talk about, and over the course of the season. But it's like right now, this
is where it
coming
comes
week
in.
is when Brett Veach does the most of his work. When it comes to speaking with the scouts at all times, staying involved with what they're looking at and what they're going towards. Because we have a lot of regional scouts out there, obviously, and Veach will be interacting with them every single day. So the job of a GM, is never over.
this is
So
where essentially
this is
his season begins.
where the fun
after today.
begins.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's gonna be a tough one, I believe, at that, but a very entertaining one could be this year.
Yeah.
Because you gotta look at too, right? We got Nick Bolton. We gotta look at are we gonna extend him? We're keeping on his rookie deal. Chris Jones is starting to get past that point.
Yeah, no,
So,
I
there's
think
a lot
that
of
we're
moves
looking at
potential to
the
make.
rumor right now is we're looking at re-signing Juju Smith-Schuster for what I'm expecting somewhere in the 3-year range. And then for Orlando Brown Jr., the current rumor is we want to franchise tag him again.
Yeah.
Which might piss him off, but look, he's going to get paid highly for 1 year again. And if he plays a high level, then finally we will give him that huge 6-year contract that he's begging for. So,
Well, let's talk about Juju for a minute, because he's been in the news in terms of that Twitter beef going back and forth. What do you guys think about his Twitter beef on the fact that he said that, like basically he got held and James Bradbury said, yeah, I held him. Like, what do you guys think about that? Because the world is making more out of this than it actually needs to be, because James Bradbury said, yeah, I held him. And everybody in the world thinks that was a true hold. Do you think that was just like a bullshit call, or do you think it was like a legitimate call? Because I feel like everybody's talking about the call. Like what happened on that call? Like, did the referees
We're
fix
talking
the
about the
game?
holding
Like,
call, right?
the holding call,
Not
but
the
like
fumble that was returned back to
no,
regular spot.
I want to know
Okay,
about the holding
okay.
call, because like I'm probably the one person in the world that is responsible for this shit, because I tell you guys every fucking week that this game is rigged,
You want too far.
and the NFL is rigged and all this shit, and I'm partially responsible for this stuff. But like, was that a fixed call, or what do you guys
No, it
think about
wasn't
that?
a
look,
fixed
I'm not
call.
going on about the call with you. You can ask me that question 24
It could
days
have
of
looked
Sunday.
better, but
I'm-
it's not the wrong call.
I'm not arguing with that call with you. We can banter for a minute if you want about the Twitter thing, because I felt kind of like Jeff Allen, former Chiefs guard. I felt like it was maybe unnecessary to go out there and throw a little jab at James Bradbury, just because Bradbury and the Eagles themselves. I want to say this real quick, just as a football fan. That Eagles organization handled this loss as classy as I've ever seen a team handle a Super Bowl loss in my life. And especially after dealing with the Bengals and their bitch asses, the Eagles handled this freaking loss amazingly.
Yeah.
And James Bradbury handled it amazingly as well. So I want to give a lot of credit to Nick Sirianni, the way he handled it and the questions they had to answer after the game. And James Bradbury owning up to the fact that he did, grab on that route, and he did tug, he did grab the hips on that route. It was all part of it. It was part of the holding on that play. But like the Twitter thing that Juju put out, as far as the Valentine's Day mocking him about holding him or whatever, I felt like it was like a little unnecessary. But AJ Brown is the one who got all the attention afterwards because he's the one that called him out about it.
Correct.
Because AJ Brown got on there and was basically like,
Like, bro.
like, yo, TikTok boy, yo, TikTok boy, basically telling him your ass was on your way out of the league until Mahomes saved you, basically. And that's essentially what he was saying. And, he said that, Bradbury owned up to it and said he did hold this and that. So I think AJ Brown was a little sensitive to what happened to that tweet, which I get that. I understand being sensitive in that moment. You're probably still pissed off about the loss. You're probably still mad. You lost by 3 points on the last second field goal in a large part due to that call, right?
Yep.
Which was the right call.
Yep.
So anyways, I feel like Juju can do a little better going forward. He likes to have fun. I know Juju's playing around on Twitter and this and that. And AJ Brown's pissed off right now about the loss still. But I just want to say that, hopefully it's something that Juju can learn going forward. Maybe pick your moments, pick your spots and go at them. But this maybe wasn't one of those spots.
Here's Mike. Here's Mike when you ask him any question about the call, essentially.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I agree with you, Mike. Like
pretty much.
The Eagles team.
I love that one so much.
The Eagles handled it well, but I'm just trying to figure out why Juju put that out there. I'm trying to figure out why
do you gotta
why
figure
did
out?
Brittany Mahomes put a
What's
tweet
there to
out there?
figure
I'm
out?
like this is like that's the worst thing that you could ever do.
No,
is
it's
put
not.
that stuff out there.
It's just what Juju will do. That's what he's done all his career.
I know, but why is Brittany Mahomes asking for apology? Like there's
From who?
We don't from Bart Scott of ESPN
Who
because
cares?
he picked the Chiefs not to even make the
Jeez.
playoffs.
Is Jackson Mahomes going after Acho or whatever?
I just feel like the
I
best
can care less what they say.
the best
Don't
thing that
care.
you can do, is not put tweets out there just to move on and
Well,
look
first of
forward to
all,
next year.
guys,
Lord.
first of all, Brittany Mahomes has also been known for being quite a tweeter, getting out
Yes.
there and making plenty of
Yes.
tweets that she probably doesn't need to be making, whatever. But it's her Twitter, it's her life, and she can.
But you're putting a
act however she wants.
target. You're putting a target on his back
But-
for next year.
but
What's the fucking point?
But she does it every
The most
year.
hilarious part of that, though, and him and his family, because you have this strange dynamic for Mahomes, and to where it's like Mahomes is literally the picture perfect, freaking amazing quarterback, says all the right things, does all the right things at any given moment, lets the play out on the field, never cocky off the field. You know what I mean? Like this guy is literally perfection of a quarterback. You don't want anything different about him whatsoever. But then he's got this dumbass brother who wants to get on TikTok all day and try to get in front of the camera and be annoying. And you got,
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
and you got Brittany who's out there shouting around all day and making a big scene all the time. It seems like, especially before the kids, by the way.
Oh, Bob Saget!
And then you got obviously his dad, who some people think goes out and says immature things here and there, smoking on this Joe Burrow, smoking on this Philly blunt, and then you got the mom. You got the mom, who some people don't like her political views, and it's just like this whole
gosh.
freaking circus of what people are having problems with his family. It cracks me the hell up.
Oh,
as a
it's
fan.
funny.
As a fan of Patrick
could
Mahomes
care
and the
less.
Chiefs, I don't give a goddamn. People, look, guys, wake the fuck up. People are weird, okay? People are strange. People all have their issues, and obviously this family does. But I don't give a goddamn.
They do.
Don't
but,
care. I don't
but
care.
They at least at some point they could learn their lesson and stop being cocky all the time, like Patrick Mahomes.
Were they not? Hold on. Was Jackson not banned from all the Chiefs games this year? Yes, he was. So
I've seen about one.
Patrick kept him away all year long. Tanner kept his ass in L.A.
I just wish these people would keep their mouth shut because
They're not going to.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chris Jones had to get Colin Saunders off of freaking
You-
Twitter mid-season.
You guys will remember this. Patrick Mahomes did have one cocky moment in his career, and that's when they asked him about Justin Herbert, and he said,
Mhm.
"Yep, I'll believe it when I see it."
Yeah.
And he learned a good lesson out of that,
Sure.
and he will never say that bullshit ever again. Meanwhile, you got all these people around him, including his family, that can't keep their fucking mouth shut. I'm just like, I'm glad that they were able to keep their mouth shut before he won the Super Bowl, but it's okay to keep your mouth shut after you win the Super Bowl too, because you don't want a target on this guy's back. Like he played in the
people-
Super Bowl injured.
Here's the thing. People take their hate of Patrick Mahomes out on his family because there's nothing you can hate about Patrick Mahomes himself.
Right.
Zero things. So they just go after his family and everything else because that's their only options to come after. So I think it's quite a dynamic.
I just don't want people from the family adding fuel to the fire for the other side.
It's
You know what I'm
just what
saying?
it's gonna
Like,
be all players, siblings, and friends, and whatever. They're gonna add. fuel.
Aaron and Jordan had problems too, as brothers.
Yeah.
Those guys for some reason didn't get along. I'm not sure really why all that was at the end of the day, but that's a
just what's
family
gonna
that's been torn apart. They're just not out in the public nearly as much. And what we see in the public with Aaron is his weird mushroom thing
Darkness.
and all of his strange girlfriends who have weird names like Spirit, Eye, and Earth, like just stuff like that. We see that a lot.
Aaron Rodgers going to the Raiders next year.
Oh man! Hey,
look, we're gonna save that for another day.
Let me bring that up here though, too. Like,
No, he wants to bring it up.
People, not that part, but the other teams is what I want to bring up. Other people have been talking like, enjoy your championships until Mahomes hits the salary cap. This guy's been hitting the salary cap. Your quarterbacks and rookies are on rookie deals. You're getting ready to hit that momentum, and you can't even win the Super Bowl. You can't even get past Mahomes.
Tanner, here's what I want to say about that. Here's what those people fail to realize. The Chiefs just freaking nailed 7th round draft picks.
Correct.
Most teams
do
not nail them for 5, 6, 7 years in a row. We nailed 2, maybe even 3 in one draft.
Well, I don't get, why are we worrying about Patrick Mahomes' salary cap?
No, we don't care.
My point is the last 2 drafts from Brett Veach have been incredible.
Yes. 21
of the 22 players from the last 2 drafts have made an impact on this current roster.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
It's amazing.
That
you
is
don't
how,
get that in other places.
That is how you still continue to pay a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes and then sustain that success around him.
Can I put this even further for you? This is without having a top 10 pick, a top 15 pick.
Well, sure. I mean, we're
top
never
15 pick.
We're never going to have one again for a while.
That's what I'm saying. Without a top 15 pick, and we're still nailing these guys.
Yeah,
with the draft. Veach
I'm telling you right now,
awesome.
I don't care. I don't care about the hit on the salary cap for Mahomes. Okay,
nobody.
The most
nobody
important thing for me is that's
the last of our.
I hope you guys, all these other fans of these other teams, are a bunch of haters because we want these teams to get better. You know what? You know why? Because when all these other teams get better, that's going to give more competition for the Chiefs, and the more competition you give for the Chiefs, the better we're going to get. And so
it's going to become
I want these
pressure
teams to get better
for more teams now.
To be totally honest, where that whole idea stems from is Russell Wilson.
Yes.
And it comes from the Seahawks. It comes from the fact Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl at such a young age on a contract that cost them nearly nothing as a 3rd round pick for Seattle. And they had all this talent around them, of course, at that time, especially defensively. You had the Legion of Doom. You had freaking Cam Chancellor out there. And, of course, in their prime.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch was part of that roster, of course. But just the corners in that were just incredible. I mean, remember Brandon Browner?
Yep. Browner and Sherman
and Richard Sherman, of course. And the linebackers with Wagner and all that. And, you have to pay all these guys. Of course, you have to pay all these guys. And then it's like, okay, Russell Wilson won that Super Bowl during that rookie contract, then gets big paid, and then the defense starts to leave. Here's the difference of the Chiefs. We got to worry about keeping Chris Jones on this team. He's a major difference maker on this roster. Nick Bolton will be kept.
Yep. Regardless.
But the rest of this team right now is so young. It's not something you have to worry about right now. And the Chiefs have 12 freaking draft picks coming up this season. Come on, this thing is gonna last quite a while. Mahomes might be getting paid $47 million next year, which he is. That's not gonna matter. This team that we just saw this year was probably worse than the team we're gonna see next year. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
It's insane.
Well, the other
screw
thing,
the whole idea of once you're paid, it's over.
But now you're gonna see guys like Cincinnati, Los Angeles Chargers. Josh Allen has an increase in his pay coming next year. All these teams, there's going to be a lot of pressure on their GMs to be able to make, compete back with the Chiefs with essentially less risk.
The other thing about the Chiefs roster is they had the 3rd most rookies.
Yeah, we're one of the youngest teams
in the league. You know what the top 2 teams were? The fucking Bears and the Houston Texans. How did that work out? The Chiefs did this. They won the damn Super Bowl, having the 3rd most rookies on their starting roster in the league. Now all of a sudden, now like, it's just, what are you going to do? You know, like the Chiefs did that with all these rookies. Meanwhile, the Bears and the Houston Texans sucked ass,
Yeah.
and we won the damn Super Bowl.
Consistently.
So it's like, it's all about how do you stop the Chiefs? Like, I compare it to like the Golden State Warriors in the NBA. You know, at some point, you got to figure out a way to stop the best team in the league.
I put out a tweet a few years ago. This was actually before we took Patrick Mahomes. Just my belief of what a franchise quarterback means to a team. And a franchise quarterback, when you have a franchise quarterback, means you have an opportunity each and every season to go deep in the postseason or win a Super Bowl in any given year, regardless of the talent around you.
Mhm.
That's to me what a franchise quarterback means. And that's to me what, even in Green Bay situation with Aaron Rodgers. And even though as much as a screw up as he is in the playoffs, that team for so long has been great at getting to the postseason. It means he's giving you a chance. He's giving you a chance, right?
They did
Well,
have a chance.
That goes for any situation with franchise quarterbacks. That goes for the Tom Brady's of the world, goes for the Ben Roethlisberger's of the world. Just those kind of guys that are franchise quarterbacks. It doesn't really matter what is failing around you. You have a chance any given season to be in the Super Bowl. and
Trevor
go
Lawrence.
deep.
Trevor Lawrence had a chance this year.
Well,
I
and
think.
he's only in year 2. I
Yeah.
give a lot of credit to Trevor Lawrence and his progression from year 1 to year
Got
2.
bounced back from what he went through.
I think Trevor Lawrence is a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
I believe in him.
He's got a great coach. That's
I
the
think
other
what,
most important.
what you're going to
thing.
see, though, is you're going to see a lot of Jaguars Bengals games that are going to be pretty wild because
Dog fights.
you got Trevor Lawrence right now convincing me you have potential to be upside of Joe Burrow. I mean that.
All right.
I mean that.
All right, hang on. So, gotta catch up on comments real quick. So, Twofold says, "Can we cut MVS?" Won't happen, but who
No,
knows?
we're going to hold on to him.
He says, "Bring on Hopkins, cut MVS."
Oh, bring on
Yeah.
Hopkins. Yeah, that's a
Hey,
different discussion,
Look,
man.
I like Hopkins a lot. I've been a fan of him for years, but I just don't know what's going to happen. We have to give up draft picks for Hopkins, right? Right?
I would.
Don't we have to trade for him?
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
don't-
I'm not doing that.
I don't like the age of DeAndre Hopkins. I would much rather draft a younger cock onto my team than to bring on a DeAndre Hopkins who is he's probably on the backside of his career, to be
And
all
he
honest
seems
with
to miss a lot of games. I do want to point that out.
So, Twofold says, "I swear, everyone on this channel, Let's Talk Sports, and those I've seen on Twitter regarding sports podcasting are all high on the NBA references, NBA references.
Thank you.
for the days.
Thank you for
I
that.
don't know
Appreciate
shit
that.
about it.
Warriors.
This Warriors comment, please put in NHL
in
terms.
NHL terms. Yeah, that's funny, man.
Isn't it?
I'm
would
not
be
so.
maybe an Avalanche type
I'm
lately,
I don't know, man. Oh, as far as for the
like
for
an
the-
NHL, like Warriors being a
Warriors
dynasty.
would be more like Avalanche, I guess.
Yeah, I would say it's more like the Avalanche.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. But I'm kind of like here with you say his name's Twofold. Is that how you pronounce that? You think? Yeah, I'm kind of with him on the NBA thing. I'm still doing my best to get better at NBA knowledge and understanding the game. Me as being a newfound Suns fan of the last 3 years, obviously I'm excited about Kevin Durant, but I'm not by any means smart about basketball. And I fully admit that I'm a pure football guy, which means, guys, in March, guess what? The NFL draft will be talked about quite a bit here on Wednesdays. So just to throw that out
So
there.
he's asking more of the terms. Is the Chiefs similar to the Warriors in the NBA?
Yeah, I would say they are at this point because, the Warriors, we all know that they're a dynasty. Now, when you talk about the Chiefs, there's a little bit of, everybody's questioning it. We
Mhm.
don't know if they're a dynasty. If you walk up to somebody on the street and say, "Hey, are the Warriors a dynasty?" Well, hell yeah, they are. There's
But
no question.
The
about
comparison
it.
is always Steph and Mahomes, right? That seems to be Mahomes is the Steph of the NFL, basically,
Steph
right?
makes magic
So-
happen. Mahomes makes magic happen.
It's just a little bit
You know.
different because, like, when I look at the Super Bowl that the Chiefs lost, right, against Tampa Bay, in the NBA, it's completely different because in the NBA, the best team always wins that 7-game series. It doesn't matter, I mean, I guess if there's a catastrophic injury, then maybe it matters. But if you're in the NBA, you're playing a 7-game series. The best team always wins that series. That's not true in the NFL. And so it's like like the Chiefs lost that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay because they had a shitty offensive line. I mean, we don't know what would have happened had that been a 7-game series. And so
I think it still would have lost.
it's Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
But then
But-
in the NFL though, you could still have players get injured though. Like if that were a 7-game series, you could have defensive players on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get injured. So there's just no way to measure the NFL versus the NBA, but I will measure it because there's a lot of talk about DeAndre Hopkins, who is going to be 31 years old going to next season. Like that's the other way I like to compare the NFL to the NBA. If I was in the NBA, okay, just throwing this out there, and I could bring a DeAndre Hopkins onto my team, I would totally do it in the NBA. If I were in the NFL, hell no, because he's going to be 31 years old. The average span of a player's career in the NFL is light years shorter versus a player in the NBA. So while DeAndre Hopkins is an elite wide receiver
When
on
he's playing.
paper, hell yeah. If he was an NBA player, totally, I would trade the world to bring him on. He's basically like Kevin Durant, talent wise, but in the NFL,
Yeah.
it's a different story. We don't know if we're going to see this guy on the field. And so there's no way in hell, if I were the Chiefs, would I bring him onto my roster because he is way past his prime. And he's
He is.
probably, we don't know. I mean, he could be Sammy Watkins now, where he's only playing like 6 games a year. You don't want to trade assets for a guy like that if you're Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs want to draft. We want to draft the next DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
That's the goal
absolutely.
of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely. And DeAndre did go, if I remember right, late first round pick
Yep.
in the draft. And I think that's the key also to our point we said earlier about Mahomes and that big contract really coming into full effect this next season, is that you got to hit on these rookies. You got to hit on these playmakers. And, maybe Sky Moore was not the, prototype WR2, WR1 that you'd like to see. I wasn't the biggest fan of that pick necessarily when it happened because I thought there was better guys on the board. But with that said, it's like, okay, you can go into the next season. You have him as a piece of the offense going forward. Maybe you can bulk up a little bit. Maybe you can get a little better. Who knows? But you're working with a lot right now in the draft with having all these picks to where you're bound to hit on at least a few. Let's say Brett Veach has an off year in the draft, only out of the 12 picks currently, only hits on 5 of them,
Yeah.
which would be an off year for Brett Veach. I mean, you're still just adding to the arsenal of what we currently have right now that are on rookie deals. And yeah, at some point they got to get paid, but that doesn't mean that the Chiefs can't now capitalize on this and win 1 more in a row, 2 more in a row, 3 in a row. Be the first team to ever win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Never been done before. It's very possible, guys. It's very possible.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you're on Jordan's level at that point. If you win 3 Super Bowls in a row, in fact, you're better than Jordan at that point because you don't have the luxury of a 7-game series.
Right. That's why there's always the argument though about Brady and Jordan crossing sports as far as who's the ultimate GOAT between those two. I have always explained that to you in the same way you're understanding right now of in the NBA, it's easier to win championships than it is in the NFL. I fully believe that. You got in the NFL, you just got too many guys around you that are always evolving and too many 53 players versus a core of 5 to 8 on the court. It's more difficult and it's more lopsided too because I truly feel like in the NBA you have the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows, not enough middle ground to make a difference. And I think in the NFL there is a much more of a what's the word I'm looking for? It fluctuates a little more, but it's gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I blame
I don't know, man.
I blame the Eagle tears for my words not working right now.
Yeah, man. I think I totally agree with you on the fact that it's easier to repeat and have 3-peats in the NBA versus the NFL only because it's happened. Like not a lot of times, but it happened with Kobe. It happened with Jordan twice. And that's just not something we see in the NFL. So I would say it's definitely slightly easier
Yes.
in the NBA than the NFL, but that doesn't mean it's easy in general because you still got to get the job done.
Twofold says Veach is a generational, at minimum, GM. The fact the Chiefs have that at least second best all-time QB, I said it. In a top 3 coach all time.
Yeah, Andy Reid's absolutely proven himself to this point. Now having those 2 rings, it should be looked at as a top 3 coach all time.
Easily.
I think so.
Easily.
I think so. Absolutely. I don't want to say one thing. I think if you gave a 7, heck, even a 5-game series to every Patriots Super Bowl, Brady would have probably 9 or 10 rings right now. I just want to throw that out. I just want to throw that out there randomly.
Because
those 2 Giants losses, I don't think that would have happened in a 5-game series.
No,
Oh,
I don't
no.
think they would. I just think it's hard to compare the two because in the NFL, all these players get so fucking banged up. In the NBA, it's like I talked about earlier. Michael Jordan had that quote unquote flu game in game 5 of like one game of his whole fucking career. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes playing on one leg for 2 consecutive games. I mean, if the Super Bowl were 5 games, I mean, Patrick Mahomes probably would have been done. I mean, so I just think it's like
2 games.
it's just very difficult to compare. But like in the NBA, like I totally agree with you, Mike. The NBA is easier because all these fucking players are going to show up from game to game to game. And at the NFL, there's no guarantees. That's why it's a 1-game playoff for your life. And that's what I love about the NFL.
Yeah. Makes everything just that more intense. I'll put it that way for game to game. That's part of why I've always argued about baseball needs to reduce their damn games from cut that damn thing down to 90.
Gosh.
And then I'll give a damn a little more about the baseball.
Baseball's a different story. Let's just leave that out.
We'll save that for a different day. Which reminds me, guys, we also got baseball season coming up, I guess. So we'll, as the spring rolls around, we'll get to talking about that as we talk about the NFL draft, of course. But I think we're all excited about the draft just because we're gonna be there.
We're gonna be there, dude.
We're gonna get footage,
media
of
passes,
the actual NFL
I
draft.
think we have a media pass, don't we?
Yes, we're gonna be asking questions and asking. We're gonna be doing all that shit.
I actually do have a request in for some to get closer.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like it's kind of like
I do got some stuff in it.
Is it not kind of like winning a Super Bowl, trying to get a media pass into the
Well,
draft? It's very difficult, but we
It's
did it.
pretty hard.
Yeah,
We'll see what
We'll
happens.
see how it goes. Either way, we're gonna be there, and we already have plans for everything. So just we did some footage for you guys out there, and it's gonna be fun to follow along. And we've always my dream, growing up a Chiefs fan. Those of you out there listening, as well as I do, your Christmas every year was the NFL draft. The season would end, we'd be disappointed. We'd be disappointed every year in the season would end, right? We'd be sitting here with some years 2-14, some years 8-8, whatever, just kind of fluttering around a little bit. And it's like, oh, first thing we could think about is what draft pick do we got? What are we going to take? Who are we going to do this with? And all that stuff. And like, that's all you cared about for about 2.5-3 months. You sit there, watch a combine like an idiot. And you just love it. You just love it. I love that Bill Burr special. He talks about fans who watch the NFL draft. And I always go back to this, and I love watching on YouTube. I'll pull it
That's a
up.
great one,
Bill
actually.
Burr is sitting there, goes, what kind of freaking loser is going to sit there and watch 7 rounds of the draft? And they're going, with the 692nd pick in the 6th round, the New York Jets take. I'm like, that's me. I'm that freaking loser. And
I'll say this.
that was me forever.
I
And
will
now
say
it's
this.
like this is just it's a part of the thing, but it's not as big of a deal to me.
I will say this. I got to give a shout out to Philly fans out there because they watch that shit every year and they boo the shit out of them. Whenever their team drafts a player, that's the sign of a true fan, and that's why I love Philly fans. Like even though they lost the Super Bowl this year, I'll give my shout at them because if you make a shitty ass pick, they will make you pay for it, and that's what I love about those Philly fans.
Love it.
I was hoping
boo the hell out of them.
Tufel says he has a Chiefs tattoo. I'm getting mine updated, you guys. So the rules of my tattoo, if you follow along long enough. So I'm adding a feather for every Super Bowl we get.
That's called Shake Your Tail Feather, if you don't know the name of the song.
And I got this tattoo before we won the last Super Bowl. That was foreshadowing. Yes, I called it basically before the last Super Bowl we won. And I got the 2 feathers. I need to get now a third, probably back here, and I'm getting colored in. So this needs a little upgrade to it. We're getting some red and yellow added in and get that colored up a little bit better, of course. My boy Elmo out here in Kansas City is going to take care of it. So, I'm looking forward to getting that updated and upgraded for everything.
So Tufel here says media pass. You need a 4th investigative member, right? I have credentials. See my tattoo, Chiefs logo, circa 2001.
You got to pay us $1,000, man.
Or
Give me
my
$1,000.
number 11 Elvis Gerback jersey. Wow.
Yeah, dude, you can make that into a Marquez Valdez scaling jersey.
Just what you want, right, Tufel?
Give me
Yeah, yeah.
$1,500.
Yeah, man. We'll let you know.
I'll get
too.
you
I mean,
with a media pass.
if I get one of my passes, I'll let you know if I get an extra one. Get you out here.
Very nice. Well, anyways, guys, I mean, we don't have a lot to talk about today other than the Chiefs stuff. So,
Can we finish out with Travis Kelce?
oh, of course, we got to play the Kelsey audio.
And on here.
We still went back and we won the Super
All right,
Bowl.
Nick Bolton
We
first.
the champs, baby.
Here, I'll try to skip.
Love y'all. Thank you.
There's Kelsey.
Can you dig it?
I just want to say I love y'all. I love this team.
He was like, "Wait a
I'm wearing
minute."
about half the beers I've
He's
been
got
trying
that
to
JG
drink,
spirit
baby.
in him.
It's been a long time coming. Because what did we do? We had to fight for a right to party. I don't know if you see this belt, but man, this belt got something on it. It's got the heavyweight champions of the world, baby. The heavyweight champions of the world. That memorial up there, I see everybody up there in that memorial. Don't nobody know we represent and honor every single veteran that went to war for us in World War I. What's good? What's good right here in the heart of America? Right here in the heart of America.
Respect.
21 years. How about that? I'm going to walk this walk. How about 21 years? Y'all know what that means? Everybody here is thinking, oh, that's when I can, you know what I mean, legally get a drink. Yeah. No. 21 years. That's how long it's just been turning for my guy Andy Reid. It's just been turning and turning and turning. And what we do, we unleash a can of whoop ass on everybody. 24-0. I ain't trying to hear it. Down 10. I ain't trying to hear it. Fourth quarter, 6 and whatever left on the clock. Down 10.
I'm proud of him for not cussing so much like I
We
would.
got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, baby. How about Sammy Watkins? Whoa!
See,
How about Damian
This
Williams?
was the old one.
Whoa!
Oh, it
How
is.
about my dog 5-5?
So Tanner, I knew it was the old one, by the way, when he said 20 down, 24-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best time
But
You knew
There it is.
the Chiefs were going to get the number
you say
one
anything?
seed.
well,
Let me
that was the joy listening to it
go
again.
ahead, sing it.
I do love listening to him, man.
I knew it. You
But
knew
still,
it, but they ain't know
Travis
it.
Kelce, best speeches out there.
If y'all knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to win the MVP, yeah, they give it.
They kept editing his audio on there when I was
This is
watching it live.
This is
Okay.
KNBC 9's YouTube. It's the only thing I could find.
Wow.
Oh,
They kept-
well, Tanner, you put on a news station's audio. I mean,
I
that's gonna be
can't
a
find
problem.
it. That's all there is.
Well, they're going through editing still or something. But-
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's still more to come.
I'm
but
so proud of him for not cussing like the
he
Tourette's
did a
guy.
phenomenal job.
Yeah, it was fine. All he did was, what was he saying? If you all knew, the Chiefs were going to win the Super Bowl or whatever, give me a
Nah.
I heard him do that before the speech.
Uh-huh.
There was someone that did a like before the speech, and like he came out and he goes,
Yeah. Oh, so
What?
Bolton was the one that started it a little bit.
Bolton. You think Bolton was the
When
one
he came out.
that did the
yeah. Uh-huh.
It's funny because like Patrick Mahomes said,
He was the one that,
Patrick Mahomes was like,
So-
Bolton's kind of a quiet
so
guy,
he's
so
kind
we
of
got
a
to get
quiet
him.
guy. but when Bolton came out, he goes, or whatever it was.
Okay.
And so Bolton started it.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
why would you edit that shit? Like that's offensive to me.
It's,
Like seriously,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
Guys,
that's
PG.
just
Guys,
so
you've
offensive.
been-
like
look,
why would you edit?
We've been
that
doing this shit for like what's it been? It's been like 3 years, right? Almost 3 years.
almost 3.
Almost 3 years or so. we don't like to edit shit. We like to let our flags fly, and which means like if we want to say F bomb, we say an F bomb. I don't feel like it right now. That's why I said F and not fuck. But
This isn't also PG.
I mean, what did
you know what I mean? This is not okay. PG, whatever, family friendly, whatever the hell you want
It's
to call
not
it.
on
Like,
public
we're
TV.
here to give you our true emotions. When the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl, we want to hear and feel their true emotions as fans. So what? You got your 10-year-old out there. They've never heard bitch before. They've never heard shit before. Like,
no, dude. I
whatever.
feel like that. Let me tell you what pisses me off. He probably said jabroni, and they edited that
He
shit
never
out.
said jabroni.
That
actually.
shit pisses me off. right
Never
there.
said jabroni.
I don't have a problem. I'm not here to
I
be
was waiting for
politically
it,
correct.
But
That's
he did
not that's not the lifestyle I'm all about. So I'm in favor of players being themselves after 10 Coronas, 10 Bud Lights, whatever the hell it is. I don't give a damn. Be yourself. That's what I want to see these guys do. That's what all of us want to see them do.
All right, let's wrap her up, guys. Just want to say congratulations to all you Chiefs fans, just like us. We are Super Bowl champions with our teams. What did he say? Oh, friendly as a 6-7-year-old, family friendly was fuck.
It was a sentence.
not
It was a
profanity in my
sentence,
house.
and I like the way he said that.
Emotions in a shortened word. It
So,
was.
so our follower here says that it's a sentence enhancer, or also could be a emotion or
Emotions in a shortened
emotions enhancer too, basically in a lot of ways. Which is that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So
Yeah, you
he's
should be
proving
allowed to do
proving my
that.
point.
Correct.
That's exactly it's a
He's aware.
it's an emotion enhancer. When we're on here and you get pissed off about whatever, and you call Tanner a rat bastard. Well,
Gosh.
maybe he deserves it.
We
Maybe
do
he
have
deserves to be a
freedom
rat
of
bastard.
speech, like just to be clear. Like,
All right, guys. Super Bowl celebration is over after this week.
I have one more question though.
Oh,
for
One more,
us as a
one
group
more.
actually.
do
So
need
obviously
one
we still are coming off the emotions of the Super Bowl victory,
emotional.
and we're just gonna enjoy the rest of this week as it is. But Sunday night when the Chiefs won that damn game, Butker made that field goal, and we stopped him on that squib kick.
yes.
What? Where were you at on a level of 1 to 10 on excitement or drunkenness, whatever the hell you want to go by? Where were you at? What level were you at?
I mean, I was just happy, man. Like happy and thankful. Like it was like I told you guys at the beginning of the show. I'm just so grateful that we are able to live in a city, Kansas City, where we're just like any other city. Like we have our disagreements on views on whatever you want to throw out there, but we all believe in our Chiefs, and we all are happy at the same time as the city of Kansas City, and we're all thankful and grateful, and we're all on the same team. And that was my main thought, after that game was over, is like, hey, you know what? This is how Kansas City should be all of the time, not some of the time. We should be like this every day of our lives. Just be thankful, grateful, and we are all one as Chiefs fans because we're the champs, bro. We won the
Yeah.
whole damn thing.
I love it, Tanner. What were you going through? I know you watched the game out somewhere, right? What were you
Oh, I
going
was at
through?
my parents' house
What
with the brothers.
after that moment where Butker made the field goal, we had the squib kick, tackled. What happened?
I was so happiness level, I will give you that. I was a 69 out of 10.
Nice.
So yeah. And then we actually went out and blew up a roll of firecrackers.
Ooh,
in the
yeah,
front
very
yard,
nice.
man. We couldn't quite find the
No,
M80.
No,
we were
I
trying to
was gonna
get.
say, it made
He
it
was-
half
he-
stick
My
dynamite.
dad couldn't remember where he put it, so we did the firecrackers
Okay.
instead. So, but we went outside, screamed a little bit, threw the firecrackers out, had a blast with it.
I was so
Yeah,
happy, dude. Like I can't tell you how happy I was. But after I had 15 minutes to come down from that shit, I realized, my gosh, the NBA All-Star game is next weekend.
Shut up.
That was the first
Hold on.
fucking thing that came to
All
my
right.
mind, you asshole.
Oh, okay.
And I-
So I don't want to hear about your ass with that shit. So no. So anyways, my dad came to town here to Kansas City about 3 weeks ago, or I guess it would have been a month ago now, but he got me some really nice champagne from a winery. And he told me when he gave it to me, he's just saying that basically I'm not allowed to open this until we till we win the Super Bowl. And he didn't know how long it could be, really. I mean, maybe the Bengals really finally show up and get one on us on the playoffs again. And all this. So anyways, I brought it with me to the bar I was at, and me and some friends had been hanging out all evening, watching the game, having a great time. So when that moment came, Butker made that field goal. I ran to my car, got the champagne. Don't worry, I took Uber home. And so got that champagne, brought it back to my table, and the people around me at the table saw me get that champagne and start kind of twisting the top on it, but not popping it, just getting it ready, right? And they all start going, "No, don't open it yet, don't open it." I was like, "I'm not opening it yet, don't worry." And there was two people next to me, a different group, who were asking me questions kind of about the game, about certain calls in the game, and this and that. And I loved interacting with these random Chiefs fans also. So don't worry, when I popped that cork, I let them have a sip of that champagne too. So first people I grabbed, obviously my good friends at the table, and then looked over to them and had them, I got some cups for them and all that, poured them a little bit, and just had an absolute blast, and didn't really know where to begin on my emotions, actually. I mean, the first time winning it was just so much, and the second time winning it was just happiness, and it was an amazement. We had 2 corn dogs in this game, which was brilliant. I mean, I just remember thinking to myself, those play calls from Andy Reid were just freaking brilliant. And I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that in the fourth quarter, they called that same exact play, just flipped.
Yeah.
And the Eagles couldn't figure the hell that
With
out.
a new person.
It was the exact same play, just the other way.
And another receiver.
Right. And it was Sky Moore's first ever touchdown, by the way. And I just remember that going through my mind a lot. Like, we freaking did it because Andy Reid is a badass. He outcoached Nick Sirianni. And I called my dad, and, I felt like texting him was the wrong move. I feel like in this situation, you gotta call your dads. And I called my dad, and we had a nice long talk. And then you ran at me.
Yeah,
I dropped
showed up because I was right down the street.
You scared me, and I dropped my cell phone on the ground. It still works, but no, it was just in general, it was just incredible, and I was
amazing.
I was on a next level by the end of the night. That's all I can say. You guys know what I'm talking about, but
I want to leave
I
you
was next
guys.
level.
I want to leave you guys with this, okay? I want the city of Kansas City to party like it's 1999. Do you want to know why? Because that's the last fucking time a regular season MVP won the fucking Super Bowl MVP.
Sure.
That was Kurt Warner back then in 1999. And now, who is it? Fucking Mahomes. Party
Right.
like it's 1999, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Tufel says my foot was thumping like a dog getting its ear scratched, sweating like a whore in a church, voice cracking like a pubescent teenager.
Hey, watch
Explaining
your
why
mouth,
he
dude.
was
This is a family
masturbating.
show. This is a
Happier
family show.
than a
Watch your
man
ass.
getting a
Oh, I
divorce.
like that last sentence because, as you know, Tufel, I've done that before, and it was the best goddamn 6 months of my life. God damn it.
Oh
Yes.
man, that was great. That's a great
All right.
description. All right, guys, you ready to call it?
Yeah, guys,
I'm ready, man.
we told our story. We told our beliefs and thoughts. We celebrated.
We gave a
We're-
whole show dedicated
We're,
to Chiefs guys.
we're celebrating the rest of the week
Because
too, of
it's
course.
appropriate.
But
That's right.
after this, we're just gonna enjoy this and be proud. And after that, start focusing on how the hell Brad Veach is gonna get us back here again a year from now.
We'll be back next week with obviously more topics than Chiefs. So, but celebrate, guys. Enjoy it. This is what it's all about. This is what the week's all about. So,
Can we have Tomahawk going, Tanner?
Party like
Are
it's
you ready? Are you ready
1999,
to go?
bro.
Kick
Are
it off
you ready
with
to go?
Tomahawk?
Outro.
Yeah. It's got the double fisted going on.
it's all perfect. Kansas City, we love you guys.